Here we're gonna understand about the differences between traditional and the e-business. Interpersonal touch. What happens here is you will actually have an interpersonal touch in the traditional market, and then you can place your order. When you place your order, what is that you should do? KYC. Know your customer. Even in the bank, you have the same. Know your customer. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Vidhyaashram from the Department of Business Studies in Vidhyaashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to the next session of Emerging Modes of Business. This is a session number 3. Here we're gonna understand about the differences between traditional and the e-business. Traditional business, what it is, Devaraja's Road, right? All the MG Road, Brigade Road, where we actually go and then we shop and we come. We call that as traditional business. And the next thing is e-business, all your Flipkart, Amazon, where you do internet while the business is happening. That is called the e-business. Now we'll go with the distinct. There are bases. Now according to the basis, we'll go with the differences between traditional and the e-business. The first basis is easy of formation. Now understand the formation concept. What happens is how much rent you are supposed to pay for the traditional business. For a fixed shop, now you are supposed to pay rent, electricity, water, all those things are there. So formation is what? It is very difficult, students. The thing is you need to go with more investment. But whereas e-business is what? It is very simple. Anybody can start and you don't need any kind of more physical resources the way traditional resources require. The next one here we have physical presence. Understand the concept of traditional business and e-business. Now traditional business means there is a fixed shop where you go and you buy the product and you come home. So what it is, you need to go there and then you are doing all the business stuff and then you are coming back. But e-business, keep it in your mind, all the things that is Flipkart, Amazon, Myntra, all those things are what? E-business. So here physical presence. Now for traditional, you are supposed to go there, then you are supposed to buy. So it is what? It required physical presence. But whereas here it is not required. You need to go to the traditional business and then buy. But here in e-business, what happens is just a click away. You are supposed to just click and everything can happen. The next one here we have is location requirement. Location requirement. Understand, a beautiful shop in a village, right? Location is required. So what happens is usually you have invested more on the shop, but the thing is location is not good. Okay, business will not happen the way you are thinking. Rolex watch, iPhones, right? All those things, if you place it in a place where the potential buyers are less, location, right? What happens? The shopping will not happen, the business will not happen the way it will happen in a metro city or in a place where potential buyers are there. Now understand here, location, proximity. What is it? Proximity. Somebody, right? Proximity to the sources of raw materials or the market for the product. There should be what? Location. That means where raw material is there, where people are there. Yes, you need to go with traditional business. But whereas e-business, nothing. Anywhere, whatever the place is, it doesn't affect e-business. Even in villages, people are buying products through e-business. The farmers, let's go with the farmers. Nowadays, the government has done too many things to the farmers. That is, the farmers will actually buy seeds or crop through e-business. Understand? They'll start ordering fertilizer or manure from e-business. This is the latest one. Now, ITC, Indian Tobacco Company, they have done something called e-Chopal. What is it? E-chopper. In that e-chopper, they'll get to know what all are the benefits of scientific managing of the farmers. That is scientific farming. So from there, they can actually buy the crops, they can buy the seeds, and they can actually do all the business they want. Now, what it is? E-business. So e-business, you don't require any kind of a location or the places where raw material is there or not there. You don't need to worry about it. It is what globally it is in a reach. Next one we have is cost of setting up. Understand, e-business very easy, but traditional, no. You need to go with all the techniques to construct the shop. So it is what? It is very high. When you compare, it is low, has no requirement. There is no requirement of physical facilities. You just need your laptop, your internet. Yes, you are through. You can go with e-business. Next we have is nature of contact. How will you contact the supplier and the customer? So what is it? Supplier and customer. How is that we get connected? Understand here. When it is traditional, the supplier is a person where the customer will go and meet, right? So what happens is indirect through intermediaries. You have brokers, okay? You have brokers. Then you have agents, you have middlemen, you have all other people. But whereas here what happens is, it is direct. You go with what? Direct. The reason here is what? The person whoever wants to supply any kind of a thing, you are the customer, just a click and you meet each other. That is what happens here. Next we have is response time for meeting customer. Now here is what? Very long. That is, it takes too long. You are supposed to go there, then he is supposed to tell you what exactly happens, then you will come back after getting all the services, again you will meet. So it is a long process. But in e-business, it's intense. That is, instantly you will actually do it. In a jiff you will do it. Instantaneous work will happen. So these are the basis, students. Still more we have the basis. This is a very important topic which you are supposed to know. Vidhyaashram is a college which will tell you all these things very easily so that you can learn everything properly. Now you have the other basis, that is opportunity for interpersonal touch. Now what happens is here much more, in the sense you will definitely have this, but here it is less. That's a problem. You can think that has a demerit as well as a merit. How exactly? I'll tell you. Now, opportunity for interpersonal touch. What happens here is you will actually have an interpersonal touch in the traditional market. But whereas in the e-business, what happens is sometimes you get the same person. Other times what happens is you will go with some other suppliers. Next is easy of going global. Now understand, can a traditional business go global? Yes, definitely they can go global, but how many? It's a question mark. Here what happens is very less people who have more capital, they can go global. But whereas e-business, even if you have less investment, I'll tell you, you can actually go through what? Through the cyber. And the boundaries are what? You will not have any boundaries if you go with the internet access. Wherever the internet can reach, you can actually cover all the places. So that is what? Truly without boundaries. So cyberspace is what? It is truly, you have something called cyberspace, and it is truly without boundaries. So these are the benefits of e-business, and this is what demerit of traditional. All the business in the traditional, can they go global? Definitely no. They can't even go state wise. Understand this differences. There are many of the business, they can't even go area wise. I'll tell you why. Because if they are fixed in one particular place, now they don't have more capital, they don't have more access to the next customers. What happens is they'll be in the same place for years together. But only if you want to go reach globally, what happens is e-business is very important, very easy as well as affordable, because they'll be using cyberspace, and you know that cyberspace is truly without boundaries. But the thing is, internet should be there. Next one we have is government patronage. Now here the government take care of it? Understand, in the traditional what happens is you have sole trader, you have partnership, you have so many kind of other things, right? Here what happens is it's shrinking. That is what, yes, it's there, but what happens is little less. But when it does e-business, what happens is, yes, the government is very particular about the e-business. That is, the government will always be in something called IT sector. Government holds that IT sector, information technology, right, sector. So what happens is there is always a topmost surveillance and topmost priorities of the government, because it is a IT sector which is in that. Now understand, here what happens is the government here in traditional it is less, and here in e-business it is more. The reason is, through e-business you don't really know what exactly things can happen. You have a black market, you have so many other dark sites. Now in that what happens is anything can happen, so the government is always there with the act, and then they will go with a topmost priority because it comes under IT sector. Next one we have is nature of human capital. Understand the human capital, boss, what exactly this human capital is all about. Now when you go with traditional and e-business, definitely the e-business is lesser than the traditional when it comes to the capital. So let's see, semi-skilled, that is human capital in the sense human wise, how exactly you need human skill, that is semi-skilled and even unskilled manpower is needed in traditional. That is, whoever they can work is what the owner or the person who's in charge will feel, they'll hire it. But when it comes to e-business, what happens is, no, you should have people who are technically very good. That is, they should have professionalism in internet, they should be computer savvy, they should know the technology, and they should always get updated. So technically and professionally qualified personnel is needed. See, if they don't have the technique or the technology knowledge, then definitely it is very difficult for them to survey in the e-business. Next we have is transaction risk. Yes, here in traditional what happens is, I'll shop something like shirt or a jeans pant or a pair of scissors. Now understand, what happens is I need to go to the place, and then whatever the money I have, I'll actually give it. So transaction between me and him is what? Restricted. So it is little safe. But when it comes to e-business, the person who is the seller or the supplier, I don't know who that person is. If I just send it, and if it is like a phishing, I'll tell you, there is something called phishing which is happening. It is not the fish which you will catch it. Now there are few people who will call you and they'll tell that your ATM is jam, you are supposed to tell your 16-digit number and then the CVV number, and then what happens is they'll hack your ATM cards and then they'll draw the money. So here e-business, that is what the very demerit about the e-business. Now here, low due to arm length transaction, that is I'll give and he will actually take it. So we call it as arm length transaction. Here what happens is, again we have something called face-to-face contact will be there, and then we'll go with it. But e-business, what it is, high due to, because it is high due to the distance and anonymity of the parties. The seller will not know, the buyer also will not know. It can be both the ways, where the seller will also cheat or the buyer will also cheat. So these are the differences about the e-business and traditional business. Hope you have understood the e-business and the traditional business. Very short recall what exactly we have done. First is ease of formation. Now you know what exactly it is. Secondly, we went with physical presence. Yes, traditional we need, e-business we don't need. Then locational requirement. Now proximity is always there, that is the raw material and the person. And then you have is the cost of setting up. Here is high, here it is low. Next one is the nature of the supplier and the customer. And the last one here is response time. Response time here, it is very long, and the response time in the e-business is very, very fast. And then we went with the other kind of a thing, that is opportunity for the personal touch, and we got to know what exactly the e-business is, and the traditional one is. Then global, can we go global? Definitely yes. In traditional it is comparatively lesser, I'll tell you very, very less it is. And when it comes to the e-business, it is more, that is you can go global, because we are using something called the cyber space, and cyberspace doesn't have any boundary. Then you have patronage of the government, that is government, will it take care or not. Then we had something called the human capital, what type of human beings you really need for traditional and the e-business. In traditional you can go with skilled or unskilled people should actually work, but when it comes to e-business, people should be very professional and they should know the technology. The last one here is the amount of risk what is taken. Here in the traditional it is the arm length risk is there, but here in the e-business you have huge. The reason is what? The enormity is there, that is we don't know who the people are. So next one we have something called as the online transaction. So I don't need to teach you more about this online transaction. You people know what exactly the online transaction happens, how it happens, and what all other things. The first one here is to go with any of the online transaction, students. The way you have done the registration for Amazon, you will get a password and all, or Flipkart or Myntra or any kind of a thing. That's the same thing. The first one you are supposed to get registered, that is you need to go for a registration. When you go for a registration, what happens is, that is what is called as, we go with KYC, know your customer. So the person will get to know what exactly the person is, who is that person, whether it is he or she, what is the age of the person, all the details they'll actually take. That is called registration. After registration you will be given a password. The password, only when you enter the password or log into the particular website, then it is open and then you can go for shopping. Next one is placing an order. You will see the cart, right? You will see the cart. Now you can go with, there are few things, they say KART cart, CART cart, right? You can go with the cart and then you can place your order. When you place your order, what is that you should do? To which particular address it should come. Now again, address also what it is. There are few suppliers who will actually send their material to those particular addresses. Again, there are few suppliers who deny that they cannot give a supply to that particular address. So you'll place an order. Next thing is what? The payment mechanism. Now in payment you have like 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The first thing is cash on delivery. You get the product, you see the product, you pay the amount. Next one is net banking transfer. Now you don't have the amount right now, you will use more internet, you are very comfortable using the e-business and the net very frequently. Now what happens is, you can actually send them through your bank through net. Next is you can give them check. There are few criteria for check also, so be very, very careful when you are giving your check to somebody. And the last one is credit or debit card. Yes, you know that how to swap your debit card or a credit card. That is how we people usually use now, after India being a digital country. Now here understand, all these are fine, sir. Is there any risk? Yes, definitely there are too many risks. The reason is, whenever you go with online, students, though you have all the technology skills, techniques, how people cheat, everything you know, but still I'll tell you, in India, probably 14, right? How much? 14% or less people know how to use the technology properly. See, using technology and using technology properly, there are too many differences. I'll give you an example here. How many of you have smartphones? Now there are everybody who gonna say that yes sir, I do have a smartphone. But are you smarter than your phone? Understand this. Earlier our ancestors, they used to be very, very smart because they never had something called the gadget which was more smarter than them. But what happened is, now we are interdependent, But now I'll tell you, after 10 years or 15 years, we'll be totally dependent on our mobiles or the gadgets. Now, how many of you can give numbers of your friends, phone numbers of your friends? Say at least 5 or 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10. Do you remember your friend's phone number? Now understand. You go and ask your parents or your grandparents. Are they able to recall the mobile number or the landline number of anybody? Yes, I'll tell you. We are totally dependent upon the gadgets. Here what happens is, while registering, right, when you register your thing, next time if you want to register to some other, say Amazon you have registered, Flipkart you want to register, automatically this will come. That is your name, everything is come. That means what? There is no privacy. Understand? Whatever you are doing it, somebody can access to it, somebody can see it, somebody can use it. So that is what happens in the e-business. Next, when you place an order, right? When you place an order, what happens is you can't touch or you can't feel. You cannot see also what it is, the display picture, whatever the supplier has given, you will actually see. Say, I'll tell you again, right? 80% of the product, what you see, you will not get the same. What is the probability? 80%. Reason is, it is what? E-business. But traditional, what happens is whatever you touch, feel, only for that you will actually pay. So there are merits as well as demerits. Next is payment method. So you all know COD, cash on delivery, then you have net banking, then you have check, and the last one is credit or debit card. And the next one here we have something called registration. Students, registration is what? You need to actually go and register in the e-business, whichever port you are actually using it. Example, Amazon also you have registered, you have got the password, you need to go with your email. We call that as what? KYC. Know your customer. Even in the bank you have the same, know your customer. So what exactly the customer is? Your address you are supposed to feed, whether you are a boy or a girl. Now all those things, the requirement details are there, you are supposed to register. Are you a robot or a human? Again, everything they'll actually check. So here what happens is, before online shopping, one has to register with the online vendor. Whoever the vendor is, you are supposed to register. And then what is that you should do? You need to start filling up the registration form. In the registration form, what all will be there? You all know what exactly it is. Now registration means what? That you have an account. What is it? You have an account with the online vendor. So you are supposed to go and register. When you register, see, I'll tell you, even the online vendor is there, right? Your online vendor. Now even he should register. Even he should register. That's why if you see the online vendors, when did he start his kind of a business, everything, the detail you will get it in the site. Next thing here is placing an order. When you need to place an order, what is that you should do? You can pick and drop the item of the shopping cart. So there will be a shopping cart where you all know what exactly it is, right? So this is what the shopping cart is. Whatever you want, you can actually put it in the shopping cart. Shopping cart is an online record. What is it? The online record, what all you have placed the order. You can cancel the shopping cart whenever you want. You can add the product whenever you want of what you have picked up while browsing the online store. So sometimes what happens is, whatever you have kept it, after 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, if the stocks are available, you can go for immediate shopping, or else just a reminder what all you have actually placed is also there. So these are the things which you are supposed to know when you go with the transactions as well as the registration. Then you will have something called placing an order, and the next one we have is the cash payment. And the cash payment or the payment is all about net banking is accepted, checks are accepted, debit card, credit card is accepted, as well as cash on delivery is also accepted. So emerging mode of business is very, very important. And in the session 3, you have understood about the traditional business and the e-business, and then I have told you about the online transaction, how it really happens. Now, if you have any doubt, anything, you can ask us. We're always there to tell you what all you need to know. So thank you, students. Until then, I'll see you when I see you.